Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Don't compromise your values for sex. That's very important. I'm gonna tell you what, a lot of men, many men really going someplace in life, really making an impact. They get messed up because they had to have sex. How many ministers have gotten caught up, lost their ministry, disappointed their followers, probably even caused crises in faith or whatever the particular path is, because that fine woman kept sitting in the front row across those legs in a way that makes a reasonable man stupid. But he got caught. How many politicians have lost their position? How many men have lost their families? How many men are like getting half their paychecks garnished because of sex? It's a powerful thing. What a man has to do, though, he has to honor his values so much that not even sex can compromise him. Even if the woman, I don't care how fine she is, and trust me, as a mentor once said, the devil wears a red dress. So yeah, that woman's coming at him and everything and turning him on, but he has to weigh that versus what does he value. And he has to say, you know what, my values are more important. Women will come and go, especially if you're a man, you get yourself together, there's always going to be a woman. There's always going to be a woman. And there's always going to be a woman who wants to have sex with you, because the women out here want to have sex. But you can't compromise who you are. Now, if one of your values is you have to get to know a woman before spending money on her, but you meet some woman and yeah, she hot, she fine, she got big breasts and a big old butt dunk or whatever you like in a woman, yeah. But all of a sudden, your value, not spending money on a woman till you get to know her, goes out the door. She's like, well, you got to take me to Ruth Chris and all of that. But that's your value. That's your value. And all it is, you just getting to know the woman. You ain't being cheap. You just saying, I got to get to know her first. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody can complain about that. Especially women, they want men to get to know them. Okay, that's your value, but you throw it out the door. But see, here's the thing. Once you throw a value out the door just for some sex, that's it for you. In the Christian Bible, hey, Samson, he was standing for something, but he threw some stuff out because of Delilah. That's very important. That's a very important lesson, whether you follow that faith or not. Whether you follow that faith or not. And like I said, all the examples, ministers, politicians, famous people, hey, like if your value is no, the woman has to say an explicit yes, you got to stick with that. Can't get with some woman who says, well, I really want a guy to try to change my mind or something. And you need to look at her and say, no, I need an unequivocal yes. I need an unequivocal yes. Like a value I've had, I'm gonna tell you what, I've had a lot of sexual experiences. I've never once in my life had sex with a drunk woman. The most I can say is I kissed one, like sophomore year in college. That's how infrequent. And she wasn't that bad. It was just one of those kicks. It was no like repercussions or something. But I thought about that. I would say I would never have sex with a woman. And I'll never kiss a drunk woman again. Never. And I'm gonna tell you why. One of the things is, if I'm dealing with a woman, I want her unequivocal, no qualifications, cooperation. Because a lot of guys get caught up. See, some guys they'll say, oh, she giving it up, she a little drunk. And all of a sudden they, a few months later, the words coming out their mouths were, well, Your Honor, I thought she was interested. It was like, no. Any impairment. I could go on a date with a woman I know, everything going good, but she all of a sudden decides she's going to drink something. And I'll be like, okay. All right, I'll just sit here. That's very important. But that's a value that I have. I want that unequivocal yes. Everything shut down if I hear the word no. And that's a value too. Also a value, and many men should have, is women in their tribe. You get some men, especially you get some professional men, especially. You know, they got all this money and stuff, and they say, "Oh, I'll never mess with that low class woman. Nah, she's ratchet. Nah, well, yeah, she got a ton of tattoos. You know, I ain't dealing with that." And then as soon as he meets one that's friendly to him, smiles his way, all of a sudden he lets that go. See, here's the thing. The most important thing for any man is his values. Is his values. Money comes and goes. Your looks comes and go. Your values, that's the thing you got. You didn't pay for your values. That's the one thing you gotta say you have, whether you living in a mansion or you living on the street. Because that's ultimately all a man has, who he is on the inside. That's the thing he has 100% control over. The second he compromises that, he no longer has control. There's an opening there for a woman to go in. And see, once the first one goes in, trust me, subsequent women, they'll pick up on it, because women are reading men's body language and everything. I talked about that. I constantly talk about that. They looking at that. They figured out which button to push. But you got to say, no, this is what you're going to do. You got to stand up as a man for what you believe in, what you're going to do. You got to. You have to stand up as a man. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. You know, the sex, look, if you develop yourself, look, and this is something I've said, and it's kind of almost a paraphrase from Batman Begins, when Ra's al Ghul was saying you can fight 6 men. He was telling Bruce Wayne, you can fight 6 men, but I can teach you how to engage 600. As a man, if you develop yourself, you develop who you are, you develop your character, you develop yourself physically, you work to be as a thorough man as possible, a well-developed man, there's always going to be a woman. Because there's always going to be a woman, you can always get one. So if you develop yourself where you can get one, you can get 600 based on who you are. So you don't need to compromise to get one. Because like I said, once you compromise, that's over for you. That's over for you. That has to be the most important thing. Your main relationship is with yourself. You got to be able to look yourself in the mirror every morning and say, you know, I'm good with this. You know, this is what I value. And indeed, your value will attract the women who are truly your tribe. So that's another thing. That's another thing. Also lets her know what not to do with you. She ain't gonna play around with you. But see, a lot of men compromise it for that big old booty. How's that working? I mean, like I said, started off talking. How many men have lost everything? You know, how many men have lost a family because they compromised their values? How many men have lost money? Indeed, there are men who have lost their lives. So even for sex, even for that fine woman, don't compromise who you are. And yeah, it's tough. Shit, I meet a one with that big old round butt dunking hips. You know, she got thighs too. Thick thighs save lives. Shit, I'd be like, oh man. Well, Rob, you know, you gotta spend $1,000 on me. Damn, you got a fat ass too. I'll be like, no, my value is I need to know you. I ain't gonna say I wouldn't spend that if we're in a relationship. But no, I'm just meeting you. I need to know what's in your head first. That's a value. That's part of the reason I've never really been played. You gotta find out what's going on. Well, my value is I gotta find out what she talking about upstairs. Before anything else go further, even sex. Even sex, no matter how fine she is. All right? You got to be that. As a man, you got to be that. Because that's what it means to be a man, standing strong in who you are. All right? So that's all I got for today, y'all. Well, I keep saying today, then I'm going to do a car video. That's all I have for right now, y'all. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.